And hey, we are the Coalition. We're outside of East Providence High School. I'm here with my buddy, Mayor Polisena of the great city, actually the Paris, if you will, of central Rhode Island, of course, Johnston, Rhode Island. You got some sort of development going on. I don't know. I was heading out towards the veterans facility, the
Operation Standout.
Operation Standout, the beautiful little housing.
Yes.
I wouldn't even call it a complex. It's really like a mini neighborhood.
We love it.
All right. And I saw this road going to the left, and I saw lots of big monster trucks out that way.
Mm-hmm.
How is the Amazon development going? And you mentioned to me some of the things that you were able to do with education in the town.
So it's coming along very well. It's going to be 3.8 million square feet. We were able to secure an agreement, a payment agreement, where we went out for bond for our schools. We're going to build a brand new elementary school, early childhood center, and invest about $40 million into the high school, $40 million to the middle school, and that's all because of Amazon. They're going to basically pay for us to get new schools. There'll be no tax increase because of the bonding that's going to go out for the schools. And we did put a question to the voters a couple of months back, and it passed by about 87% of the vote. So it's coming along. I was able to get a few other things also. For instance, I got free RIP the bus transportation. That they're going to pay for the workers that live in Pawtucket, Central Falls, Woonsocket, and Providence. Because listen, a lot of people don't have vehicles. I'm fortunate if I have a vehicle. So we want to make sure that obviously people can get to work safely, on time. So they're going to pay for that. They're going to give us some money for our senior center, our sports fields and stuff. So we got a really good deal out of it. I'm very happy. Not to mention, honestly, Pat, it's financial security for the town for years to come.
You know, I'm teasing because you and I have what do we call it? A teasing relationship. We have a lot of fun when we on those times when we connect. Yeah. And I joked to another mayor, Mayor Grebien, that perhaps you're ending up your term.
Yes.
A long career as a public servant for the city of Johnston. There's a crying need for, let's just say, consulting on the negotiation level. Because, and I'm not going to ask you to comment about other people's gigs, but just in general, it just strikes me that cities in Rhode Island seem to be eager to write a check. And again, we'll keep this generic. They seem to feel like they need to encourage people to come to arguably, I think, what is the best state in the country.
Absolutely.
And one of the best places to live in the country.
Absolutely.
And it's affordable enough so it's some of the best opportunities in the country. What is it that you've been able to do that whereas we're conceding in other cities around the state and writing checks for businesses to come in, you're getting businesses to write the checks to you?
Absolutely.
So how does that work? How does that happen?
So what we're doing is we make sure that, obviously a lot of businesses, they want some type of tax stabilization. We do that, but we get money for it. For instance, I'll give you an example. We probably on the leading edge of solar farms, renewable energy. We got wind turbines. So you can only tax them X amount of dollars per kilowatt, like $5,000 a kilowatt. So what we do is we tax them the kilowatt, and then I'll say, okay, by the way, for the next 20 years, I need $5,000 more. For what? Well, I've got a scholarship fund with probably commitments for the next 20 years of about $800,000, and the scholarships for our kids, Johnston High School. So we pass out 15 $1,000 scholarships every year, and that comes from these companies coming in. So we get the tax money, but we get a little bit more. Citizens Bank was another issue. They could have built several houses there. They would have built houses there. With each house, I've been a nurse for 37 years. You get 2.3 kids. I know you can get 2 or 3 or 4. I don't know how you can get 2.3.
Right.
Anyway, and the cost of education is expensive. So I'd rather see businesses. When I first took over as mayor, we had a zoning and planning board that basically it was so stagnant you could breed mosquitoes. They didn't want any business in. But we changed that. We got new members that were business friendly. We have responsible economic development where it doesn't interfere with the neighborhoods. Listen, you're not going to be happy. Not everyone's going to be happy. The Amazon, where's the animals going to go, this, that. There's 140 acres, they're only using 60 acres. And it's going to put Johnston and the state on the map for obviously the jobs, for also the tax revenue. So we got a for-profit hospital coming into the town. Quite frankly, if it was a non-profit, we wouldn't want them because we don't need a hospital freeloading on the town. So it's a for-profit hospital. They're going to spend $50 million, 150 new jobs. So we're excited about that. Quite frankly, I was working on bringing in a big warehouse, but that's on hold right now because of the supply of steel. It's very difficult to get. But that's another option we got coming in. So since I took office, I've been the mayor. the end of this year will be 16 years. We've got $2 billion in new investments. $2 billion in new investments.
With a B.
With a B. So, I can hold my head up high. There's been some surveys out there. 87% of the people surveyed want more business. They're very happy with the business because it keeps down the taxes. We had a small increase last year because the schools needed more money, but prior to that, hadn't had a tax increase in 5 years. Right. This year, no tax increase. And with Amazon coming, they're going to pay the bond, plus we'll have extra money left over to do town projects, our infrastructure, which is important. So I'm very, listen, I've been lucky. I got a great town council. We work together. I work closely with the school committee, and it's a great thing. I've got I can look people in the eye when I leave, which is great.
Final thought. It's interesting, the development that you talked about from two places, healthcare and distribution. It strikes me that given some of the challenges Rhode Island faces, a great entry point for business in the state has and always will be distribution. Central location, major interstates, an interstate that loops the city, and whether it be in Cumberland or in Johnston now or in Warwick, there's great opportunity for entry-level jobs, which, it's a broad-based hiring platform that you can work of. Was that a conscious decision of you to focus on those two areas?
Yeah, absolutely. One of the agreements we got is that Johnston residents will have hiring preference. So there's going to be 3,000 jobs. Now, I will tell you that 350 to 400 jobs will pay between $60,000 and $150,000. The rest will probably be $18 to $22. But they've got an excellent healthcare program. Now Amazon is offering free college tuition. So it's a great. We have a very good symbiotic relationship that we're going to work together with Amazon to make sure that Johnston residents get jobs. And I was concerned about the state, making sure that there's some money going into programs for job development for the state. As I said, we've got a RIP to bus transportation that's going to be free for the workers that live in Central Falls, Pawtucket, Woonsocket, and Providence, because obviously we want to make sure that people can get to work. That's important, and it's a very difficult job market. So, the thing is, I always looked at the bottom line. What am I going to get with businesses coming in? Is it better than having 50 houses, 20 houses? And it is, because as I said, education is expensive, and it should be, but having businesses, you can have that little balance. So, and we're developing some houses and some, right. So we need housing. We know that. Hopefully, that'll be our next step, looking at getting some, especially elderly housing. I know they're all talking about. There are a lot of homeless people. There's a lot of elderly and veterans that we should be taking care of. That politicians only care about the veterans when it's election time. Right. So we should be taking care of the veterans 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. So there's housing issues with veterans. As a matter of fact, if I may, once our school's built, I'm going to donate 2 of our schools to the veterans so they can put obviously veterans homes in there for them. So.
Now, I have a vision for you after you kind of decompress after your term as mayor. Negotiator for hire. I have this. Remember that commercial where the law firm shows up and all right. Yeah. So I have this mental image of you, everyone sitting around a table in or Providence, and everybody's happy, and they got the sticky buns and the pretty pictures and the little model, with the little cars and the little people. All right, and then at the last minute, we got a couple things we want to discuss. Sure, and then you walk in.
Let me say this. So I'm after 16 years as mayor, 22 years as a firefighter, 12 years as a senator. I'm going to obviously take some time. I'll still probably teach as an adjunct professor at Roger Williams. I may work 1 or 2 days of work as a nurse if people want to hire me. I mean, old nurses are good nurses. Yep. And quite frankly, I would be glad to help my colleagues. I don't want to get paid, but if they ask me, can you come in and help us out? Because listen, the mayors have a difficult job as it is. I'm not looking to make any money off people. So I would, if they asked me my opinion, or could I come in and help them, I probably would. And as long as they would let me help them and help them in a way where I would be productive and bring the business in, not just lip service and sitting down for coffee. I don't like meetings to death. So let's get it done. And we have a saying in Johnston: when you submit, we permit. And that's important. People that are going to invest money in your community, to tie them up when they're going to invest money is not a good thing.
Last question. Sure. If there's going to be a new administration, we're not sure who it's going to be. Correct. But a role for you at Commerce?
I don't think so. I don't want to work full time. Like I said,
a role for you, say at the board level.
On the board, yeah. I wouldn't mind. Whoever is going to be the governor, if they want to tap into my expertise. Right now I'm on the ambulance board. I was on it years ago. I'm on it again, which I like, Rhode Island Ambulance Advisory Board. But if someone wants to say, listen, we'd like to put you on a board or commission, I'd be glad to do that, to give back to the state. Well, the state's been very good to me. The town's been very good to me, so I'd like to do that, sure.
Great. Well, listen, congratulations, and thanks for catching up with us.
Thank you, my
we
pleasure.
We will see you again soon, I'm sure.
I look forward to it. Thank you so much.